So if you can't tell, this is Anime Crusaders. I've been playing a little bit of this game over time. You can see level 53. I have unique on this guy over here, freaking Dimple. He's an older unit, he's still really good. But anyways, I wanted to talk about Anime Crusaders Christmas update because I love this game. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of AA.
I torture you. I'm a slave to you.
And also reminds me in the negative ways. So if we go to summon here, the new update is a Christmas banner, and I just want to talk about the obvious. The over heaven is the secret. There's a bad thing already because everybody knows in every anime game it's always Dio over heaven. But I also wanted to point out something I noticed in the trailer. One comment pointed it out. Toshiro, Kuzan, this one guy from Fire Force, and there's a secret portal unit which is Esdeath. Now, for anybody who thinks those units sound familiar, first of all, yeah, they all use ice. Second of all, those are the units that were in Anime Reborn's selection for their own Christmas update. So I think the only one that wasn't might have been this guy, but every other unit was in that selection. So I'm not accusing them of anything. It could be a very, very odd coincidence, but I did want to point that out first off. Second of all, as you can see, it's a Christmas shop, so it's a portal update. So, you buy your portal, 200, and then, you obviously play the portal. However, this portal system sucks, alright? And I'm going to cut to exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, we're going to run a tier 1 here, and then I'll see you in 1 moment. Alright, so we're in the portal. We're playing it now. As you can see, it's pretty average portal. You place down your units, you have them. There is 2 paths, though, which isn't a big deal for now since this is tier 1. But while I was here, I wanted to speak up on something that I read about in one of the Q&As. So, editor, cut to a screenshot of what one of the devs said. Speed in the game is quite slow. What is your take on this? And they said it's not necessary as they try to make map runs as short as possible. Now, personally, okay, fine, that's okay. In this portal, it takes me about 5 minutes to complete. But in the Halloween update, it's 50 waves. The map was 50 waves, quite long, and it took about 30 or so minutes to maybe complete one, given grace. I wouldn't call that fast. In fact, I would say the speed of the game is actually slow, but if you're placing your units and you have good units, it'll be a decent amount, like 5 or so minutes. But there's one thing I just wanted to kind of address. And a bigger issue that I noticed is, don't know where the clip is. Editor, put on a screenshot of what they said about a pity system. Will traits have a pity system, and why is it hidden? So they hid the pity system, and their excuse for it is that a pity cancels out the hype of getting a specific trait. We want to be able to keep that dopamine factor. That is the stupidest excuse I've ever heard. Keep the dopamine factor? There's no dopamine factor if you don't know if there's even a pity. You know what I'm thinking? There probably isn't a pity. You know how easy it is to lie about that and just pretend that there is one when there honestly isn't. The fact that you want to keep the dopamine factor in quotations so you don't have to add the pity is kind of bogus to really think about it, because you don't know how many rerolls you need to grind for to get a pity on any reroll, especially the big one, Crusader, which is honestly fairly needed in most circumstances. Not needed, but it makes this game a lot easier to play. Not having a pity in the big 25 of tower defense games is absurd, because not only can you keep the dopamine factor with a pity, in fact, I feel like getting something without pity makes everything feel so much better. Whereas if you don't see the pity and you don't get Monarch, I mean, at least with me, I get super disappointed because how many rerolls am I away from getting Crusader? It's absurd, and I think personally they should change that, and they should consider adding a visual for the pity. And a couple other things that maybe should be addressed is the communication. The communication is kind of stinky, but that's fine. They've been having issues with the game, developers leaving and whatnot, so it's fine. But communication is on the DL. I feel like more community notes should happen. Like, we should be told more. We should partake in further updates and whatnot. But Yeah, besides that, I think updates are kind of lackluster. This is their best update, by far. At least from what I have played, this is their best update, and it's a bad update. And you'll see why in just a second. So it's about to be Wave 20, and we're about to be able to choose another portal. And just want to make note, we started on Tier 1, so this is a Tier 1 portal, right? So in most other tower defense games, when you beat the first tier, you get to choose the next tier, which is normally like Tier 2 and so forth and so on. But and you'll see here in just a second. Give me one moment, we just gotta kill these guys. Alright, as you can see, Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 1. Now, there are multiple cases where I haven't even gotten a Tier 2. Matter of fact, I played a Tier 2 earlier today, and after I beat it, you know what I got? All Tier 1s. So that's a horrible thing for this game, especially in the Big 25, where portals, I feel like we have a basis understanding of it. So I'm just going to choose this portal, and there's honestly a chance that when I do the next portal, I'm just going to end up getting a Tier 1. And I also found out that if you don't pick a portal at all, you just lose it. So you have to buy a new one, you have to restart your whole grind again, which is a bummer. But yeah, that's how I personally feel about the winter update. I'll go into more detail in a second.
Okay, so I'm on my phone as I'm recording this segment because I'm actually on Christmas vacation. I wanted to go over kind of the AI generated stuff in the game, and this is more so an issue that it's kind of personal. I'm just not a big fan of generative AI in any game, to be honest. So if we go to the Christmas event here, go to the shop, and you just look at some of these items like the ice generals, most of just the items in general definitely feel like they're AI generated. But if we go to the normal items, and for example the candies from the Halloween update second part, definitely that's AI generated. Even here we go, the Christmas item for the snow, that's, just look at that, that's AI generated for sure. Most of the items I feel like are AI I mean, even look at the gingerbread. Tell me an artist drew that. They didn't. It's AI generated, and this is a issue most tower defense games have, like especially Anime Guardians and Enemy Last Stand. Enemy Last Stand is a issue on its own, but the thing is, this game, if we go into the store here, as you can see, I bought the Black Friday bundle, so clearly, at least they are making money off of these bundles. I mean, look at how many bundles there are. And $499, so about $500 for both of those. They can certainly afford an artist to make these simple items, yet they pick the lazy way and they use generative AI, and it's a personal issue. A lot of people don't really care, but to me, generative AI is harmful in both the environment and kind of jobs, because artists are being taken away by their, you know what people say. But I just wanted to, that was the last issue I had with this game, and it's honestly an issue I have with every other game. The thing is, if these guys are using AI for just items, imagine what else they're using it for, because if they have the courage to use it to generate, just items, basic items that they're gonna need, that could take an artist maybe like a day or so at max to just draw, then they're probably using it for other stuff. I mean, they could be using it to script, to get abilities, to get moves, all sorts of things. It's a gateway to other development, like it's a gateway to laziness pretty much, and that's my personal issue with it, along with the environmental and the job damage that it does. But Anime Guardians has the potential to be almost up there with AV if they stop trying to kind of pander towards AA lovers. And I have this issue because I love AA, even though the game was bad, but I feel like it has a sense of identity. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. As a reward, I will tell you what the next video is as soon as I get back, and I'm not going to promise because I'm really lazy. So the next video is going to be Jump Showdown, and it's going to be kind of a funny shenanigans type of thing. But yeah, have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas to you guys. Like and subscribe for more.